Hey guys, we're here today with Jimena. She's a Changemaker here in Gwinnett, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her story today. So Jimena, what do you do and how are you involved with Boy with the Ball?
So I am the Velocity Program Assistant. Within Boy with the Ball, I do Velocity at all 6 schools. I am a part of Pipeline, and I also did Love Your City for a little bit.
Cool. That's great. So what was your first interaction with Boy with the Ball? Like, how did you meet them?
So my first interaction was around 7 years ago. So I don't really remember the moment, but I do remember what kind of like sparked interest in Boy with the Ball. And it was 6th grade classroom, and they were showing a video about velocity. And velocity in I think Texas. It wasn't even in Georgia. And so just seeing that kind of was the first moment I've really touched Boy with the Ball. And then I remember Molly and Christine engaging me at school. And I also remember one time they bought us donuts. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What drew you to stay around Boy with the Ball?
I think what drew me to stay around Boy with the Ball was just seeing how impactful the relationships were, and how it changed me, or how I also got to meet new people in Velocity and Boy with the Ball. So I think what kept me around really was the people and the relationships I was building with them. So there was a time when I didn't do something well, or something that I wasn't supposed to do, and they came over to my house, had lunch with me, and talked to me about what I did, but didn't make me feel unwanted. They actually made me feel cared for when they did that. And so that really kind of was these people care for me, and I want to be around people that care for me. So I stayed.
That's great. What made you want to join Velocity in the first place?
I think what made me want to join Velocity was I was in 6th grade, a new school. So it's pretty obvious, I wanted to get involved in stuff. But I think what really stood out to me was just the games that they were playing in the video, and the fact that they were going to get high schoolers to come down and care for me. So that was that sounds fun. I need someone right now. And so I think that's what made me.
Yeah, That's awesome. What were you facing in your life at that point that made having a mentor really helpful?
I think what I was facing was a lot of insecurity about who I am, what was I supposed to do in middle school, and having a mentor just really helped me reassure that's not your life. Insecurity isn't what your life is. And so my mentor Yari, she kind of was this is high school, and we don't really face those things in the way that you're facing it. Yours is more of a social insecurity, you're scared of what you're gonna do around people. And so in high school it's kind of it's your own kind of thing, you shouldn't be scared of that. And so she helped me through that, and helped me talk through what I was insecure about and why, and kind of face that.
Yeah, that's awesome. What is the 3-2-1?
3-2-1 is something we do at the beginning of each mentor-mentee session. It is 3 good things that happened throughout the week, 2 bad things, and then 1 thing you're hopeful for. And so I really enjoyed them because it's I like the 1 thing you're hopeful for because it kind of keeps me in check of oh, you were hopeful for your cousin's birthday party. How was that? Or how'd it go? You said you were going to talk to your mom about your failing grade. How did she respond, kind of thing. And so it's really cool to see that.
Yeah. Then as a mentee in Velocity, do you have a favorite story, or just kind of going into what it was like to be a mentee in Velocity?
My favorite story as a mentee in Velocity are the 3-2-1s, because I was always excited to tell Yari my favorite memories from the past 6 days I didn't see her. But then also I just had so much built up in those 6 days because I said I was insecure, and I didn't really have anyone to talk to. So just getting those weekly checkpoints with her, those were probably my favorite parts. And then getting to hear her side of her 3-2-1s and what was hard for her and stuff was cool too.
Definitely.
I also just remembered a story from when I was a mentee, an impactful story. And it was like the activity was to lay down on a big piece of parchment paper and then trace you and your mentor how to trace each other. And so I remember on the inside you put what's true, on the outside you put what other people have said about you. And so on the outside I put all these mean things people have said about me, and then all my insecurities. I remember on the inside my mentor went in and said, put all these things like she knew about me. And it was like towards the end of the year, so she's had like 8 months with me. And so I remember she didn't just put stuff like you're nice, but like she put like situations where I responded in a way and she said, this is who you are. And so that was very impactful for me. I think I still have the paper because it was just like yeah, this is what people see me as. Like people who know me, this is what they see me as.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's like, I'm assuming that's part of the reason why you decided to become the program assistant, because like your life changed because you had this mentor alongside you who like saw you so clearly. So that's really like beautiful that you would give your life for all of these other young people to have that same experience and those same friendships that you had. So yeah, that's great.
It was cool. It was nice to know that someone knew me. Like I don't know.
Yeah, that's awesome. So then as you went out of middle school and now you're going into high school, you became a mentor in philosophy, right? So what was that transition like, and what was it like to be a mentor?
Okay, the transition from being a mentee to mentor was actually pretty hard. You could see the sacrifices past mentors have done, because high school is fun. Like you join clubs, like you want to do stuff, but then you also really want to care for a young person. So the transition was hard. But then throughout high school, it got fun and it got like that sacrificial love where it's like, no, like I'd rather do this club than like go out with my friends, because it's like I've seen what they've done for me, and like I want to do that for the middle schoolers too. I think being a mentor was really cool, because it's like a different side of velocity that I haven't seen or touched. Like the trainings, and then also the time at the high school. I didn't know they did that. I didn't know that they trained at the high school before going into the middle school. And so that's fun. And then getting to know the different volunteers deeply is really fun too. And the different mentors. Yeah.
So you were a mentor for about how long in philosophy?
Mentor for about 3 years and then a semester. That makes sense.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, and so what are you doing now in your final semester of high school?
So now I am the velocity program assistant.
Exciting.
Yeah.
What made you choose that role?
I think I chose that role because I've seen, like Ellen, the previous one, like I've seen how she's impacted my life, and I want to impact young people's lives as well.
So what's your day-to-day look like as a velocity program assistant?
As a velocity program assistant, Tuesday to Thursdays, I'm at the high school and middle school. So my goal is to get to know the volunteers really well and send them out to get to love and care for the high schoolers really well, so that the high schoolers can care and love for the middle schoolers.
What were some moments where things like started to change in your life, or like conversations with people or experiences where you started to realize things were changing for you when you were growing?
I think I'm still growing. A moment that's like, I was like, yeah, like I am growing, was with a volunteer. I remember he was just playing a game, and he was leading it, and he wants to be a PE teacher, but no one was like really listening to him, and I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. But then he kind of had like a good heart about it and like brought people in, and so that's like a moment where I caught myself like seeing like this is what the program is doing to this young person, like they did to me, and so I thought that was cool. I would say for me, it would be like one time I was riding down with Maria to Kennesaw State, and I remember telling her a story about the volunteer and what happened, because it's like I've never seen a volunteer that way. I've never felt like like I could see pieces of the kingdom. And so then she said, like, oh, like, that's a piece of the kingdom. That's what kind of Boy with the Ball is, like, called to do. And then I was like, oh, wait, like, that's cool. Like, I've never felt like that. And I think that's, like, when my heart was, like, kind of like you can do that. Like, you can see the Lord in, like, different ways, not just in your life, but in other people's. And so that was, like, really overwhelming, but then also very, like, wow, like, I really can. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
So that's one. And then I remember last year, my junior year, I was going through hard friendships, and so I had the choice. Nina was talking to me through it all, and I had the choice whether or not I wanted to stay with these friends and, like, not obey the Lord, or, like, really go for the Lord without these friends. And so I remember that's, like, where I had to choose, like, I want to be with the Lord. It was hard, but I did the work in it. And so
yeah, that's great. So now that you've been around for a while, you've been around a lot of young people, and you are learning and you're growing still, like you're saying, you're learning to become a leader, and you really care about seeing young people's lives change.
Yeah.
So what are you seeing young people face right now, specifically in school?
I think in school right now, young people are facing, like, the idea of kind of being alone. Like, they like the idea of being alone, but I don't think they actually like to be alone. I don't think that they want to walk home by themselves, like, without a friend. I think I've actually experienced this where I go to school and I'm like, oh, no one wants to be my friend. Like, they just want to go to school and leave. I think that's what young people are facing right now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really true. So then what kind of transformation have you seen in your own school, in your own community, throughout these past years?
So, transformation I've seen in my school, there was this kid, a guy, and he was in Velocity, but you wouldn't think he would be in Velocity. He didn't like talking to people. He didn't like even touching people. He had a phobia of, like, touching people. And so I've seen him throughout the weeks, like, even now, he still kind of is, like, hesitant, but would do it in a game because he told me, like, that he believes that it's important to, like, really get over that phobia for him. And so I think Velocity has transformed him into, like, a brave person and, like, going to defend his phobia.
Yeah, to, like, overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Another transformation that started would be, like, I met a girl, Fian, and I met her through Velocity while I was going through that, like, friendship breakup. And so having her alongside me was really cool because now she's involved in, like, everything too. I was also gonna say, like, how Duluth High School, I've seen them, like, I've only been there this semester, but I've seen them really, like, grow, like, out of their shell. Like, there's this girl and a guy. The guy said something kind of mean to the girl, and the girl used the things that we were talking about in Velocity. And so seeing her transform and grow through the Velocity program has been really cool to see. And so he responded kindly as well. And she told Ellen, and me and Ellen went with her into telling him, like, it was the I don't like when I feel this, can you do this kind of thing? Mm-hmm. And he responded well. He's like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know that was gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
And then now they're, like, really good friends, and it's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. What transformation have you seen in your family, or the way that you interact with your family through Velocity and camp and Love Your City?
I think the way I interact with my family is a lot different. For a while, when I was going to Love Your City, I would interact with the families really well, actually. Like, I'd get to know them deeply. I'd get to know life before they came to America, and it was really fun and cool. But then I would go home and go upstairs and just, like, lay in my bed, then I would, like, really think about that, and I'd be like, why is it so hard to talk to my own family? Like, I've been doing it with all these other families that I don't even know, and it's hard to go downstairs and ask my mom how her day was. But throughout Love Your City, and then throughout Velocity too, actually, it's actually been easier to talk to my family, because it's like I talk to new people every day. Why can't I talk to my family the way I talk to them? And so just after Velocity, I go back home and kind of like talk to them about like what we talked about, and like also like ask them. I do 3-2-1s with them. Like I feel like that's just an easy step to start talking to them, and that's how it's transformed me within my family. But my family has changed in the way that they feel very involved with not Love Your City, with Boy with the Ball, but also Velocity. They feel cared for with the Velocity team specifically. And it's funny now, they're always like, oh, is Maria still pregnant? Or like, how's Nina's kidney? Like, I don't know. Like, they're just like asking stuff now, yeah. Which is really fun and cool that it's kind of like a crossover. Like, they're in my life now. They're not just a part of it, but they're in it. So it's really cool to see them that way.
Yeah.
And how it's transformed my family and me.
That's awesome.
And my sister is now in Velocity, and so cool. I was telling Sergio how in the beginning of the year we were talking about anger management, and so there was this one time I got mad at her for wearing my shirt, and she was like, we just learned this in Velocity. Control your anger. And so it's just cool and funny now that she's in Velocity. So she uses the Velocity skills to use it against me in a way. So I'm like,
yeah. You're like angry, but you're also like proud of her.
It's like perspective taking. Yeah. So I'm like, okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what is your hope for the future of these young people that are in Velocity right now?
So I think my hope for these young people is for them to get involved. If it's not in Velocity or if it's not in Boy with the Ball, just to really get involved in their community and get to love their community. Because without it, we're honestly nothing. It's just a bunch of stores. It's not like the clerk that you know at Quick Trip or anything, you know? And so I think my hope is for them to get involved in their community and love it, and to give back to the school. I think that's really important, because without that, you didn't have that community. With like Velocity, like without the school, you didn't have Velocity. And so just to give back to it is really cool.
Yeah, sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
And then how has being a part of Boy with the Ball shaped your identity or sense of purpose?
I think that being the Velocity assistant has kind of, I don't think that would be I think that's my purpose right now. But in the future, I see it being like a, kind of like a key to my purpose, but like kind of just like pushing me towards my purpose. Like I know my purpose is to work in schools and work with kids, and so as a Velocity assistant I am doing that constantly, but I think I would work with younger kids, like elementary school kids, but then it's also like I do family engagements, and with that I am engaging the family, which includes younger kids. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of like shows me parts of my purpose too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. What are your dreams for your life?
I think my dreams would be to get married and to have kids. Like I really want kids and a husband. I think I would want to be a public school teacher, 3rd grade, mm-hmm. and I would want to live near my community. So in like maybe Swanee, Norcross, Lawrenceville areas, kind of. Yeah.
What have you learned about being a leader?
What I've learned from being a leader, it's actually like, I've learned that you don't have to be like loud, or like you don't have to be enthusiastic about the game. All you have to be is like in it. Like you just have to genuinely be in it to like be a leader. I don't think you need to be really seen. I think you just need to, like when you are seen, I think you just, I think
like you don't need to be like this
you
shiny,
don't,
like, star.
You don't need to be the center of attention. Like you're just there to help people. I think it's honestly like becoming a leader was hard, because it's like sometimes you do want to like lead a game or you do want to make it fun, but I think my purpose specifically as a leader is to make sure everyone else is engaged, not just that I'm engaged and having fun, but that everyone else is too, and that they feel comfortable while being engaged. So,
yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
And then what are some strengths that you've discovered or things that you realized are like true about yourself, like you're saying about what your mentor said about you?
I think some things that are true about myself is that I make people comfortable. I think that's the strength I have, is that people will feel welcomed when they're with me. I think I'm also like, I think for a while I thought that this wasn't a strength because my cousins would kind of like put it down, but like I'm really talkative. Like I think that's a strength I have because, like I said, like kids want to be alone, but like if you are alone, then you're not with people, and so I want to be the people you're with. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just want to be there. I think another strength is that, I don't know if this is a strength, but I have open availability. Like, I feel like I really, like, I am, like, you want to go do something, let's go do it. Like, I'm just very like that.
Yeah, ready for anything.
Yeah. I don't think I'm spontaneous, but I am ready for anything.
Okay,
so,
yeah. That's cool. I can definitely testify to you being, like, a person that makes people feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can see that. Anytime I'm with you, it just feels, like, very easy to talk with you and relate with you. So.
Yeah, I think also being a leader is just, like I said, like, being present physically, but then also mentally. Like, I feel like sometimes it's really easy to zone out. And, like, to be a leader, you need to know your teammates really well. And so zoning out and not really listening to them is not being a leader, because you're not knowing your team the way you're supposed to lead them. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. And you've definitely done a great job at that. Like, you've been captain at camp for probably 2 or 3 years now? Maybe 4, yeah. Wow.
Since COVID.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you've done great every year. All right, well, thank you so much for coming, Jimena. It was great to hear your story. And it's really inspiring because it'll inspire a lot of other change makers who are wanting to make change in their own cities like you have. So
Thank you
for coming.
Thank you.